that we haven't seen for a very long time. So I'm really intrigued. The tech is dark. We're here for SBTC to bring it out.
I do have to quickly correct myself. Actually, EDG played it, or Leaf played it against LGD, and they did win that game against Illusion. It was also played in the PCS by Jewish team against FAK, where it lost, but that time it was mid lane against Vega.
I told your ass I was going to get yelled at by somebody that was in the PCS. Degenerates, okay? All right, that makes a lot more sense. If I recall, also, I thought I had seen something about Kog'Maw being played, but I thought it was mid lane for some reason. But that was the one where it was like Void or a Riftmaker with like Navori or something like that, because it enhances your W attack power or something like that. Is it that is a disgusting idea. I don't know if it works in practice, but I do know that the idea of throwing true damage and also amplifying that true damage with Navori probably is something that needs to be considered, at least in terms of build path.
Yeah, it was Riftmaker, Phantom Dancer, and Navori's. The build order, I'm guessing, was Navori's before Phantom Dancer. And there was a stopwatch in there as well, so I don't know if that was purchase going towards the Zhonya's or if that was just perfect timing.
Actually, that hook was a criminal hook, by the way. I'll give credit to Sora where credit is due. This is a solid hook to find it. How in the world did that hit Vin? Yeah, how in the world did that hit Vin? Like, of all the people, like, it was out of nowhere that ended up coming through. I don't think Vin ends up going for that Riftmaker build because there's not enough tanks in the way. Like, if you're playing against in my opinion, if you're playing against SBTC with the Kog'Maw, then you'd be like, okay, that might be a viable build because you'd have like a couple of decent tanks, especially if there's like a Cassante instead of a Jax, then almost certainly you go for it. This is a team with not that much bulk. You might have some bulk eventually with like Jade and Fook1 and Sora, but it's not going to be enough to where you need that true damage. So like, to me, Blade of the Ring King should be more than enough, and you're just going for a more standard Kog'Maw build.
I do also want to bring up as well, not that Emperor hasn't already proved himself time and time again in the VCS, but this is another big opportunity for Emperor to prove himself against literally the best Fiora in the VCS. And Emperor has just been, I think over the last year, Emperor has really brought himself up as a name for, one of the best players, one of the best top laners in the VCS, period. And now he's being ganked. He needs to find a 1v2. He does have a flash available. Going to use a counter-strike to get a two-man stun. Almost going to get the kill onto Yoshino, but can't flash away. And first blood is secured by Fook1.
That's a classic. That's a classic Emperor maneuver right there, where instead of trying to like find an E, then flash over the wall, maybe burn, flash from Yoshino, flash from Fook1, he's just like, I can kill Yoshino. That's gonna happen right now. So I did appreciate it for a second here, because yeah, if you get an auto Q cancel or something like that, maybe you get Yoshino in trade. Now bottom side.
Oh, Spot, it was such a nice try by Spot to flash in the way of the dredge line to safety. But he doesn't quite get the angle right, and Sora will survive.
Yeah, instead just going to buy some space here for his bot lane to kind of push out more than anything else, but not the win that you wanted here on the bottom side. As a response to Fook1's top side pressure, it's going bot side, that ends up coming through. Now Jane versus Dia1.
Game 1, Fook1 had so much jungle pressure, and again, here in Game 2, Fook1 doing the same, almost finding the angle on it to Dia1 is very low. Now Spot having a look towards this mid lane. Dia1 is incredibly low. Palette making his way up as well. Spot does not have a flash available. Arctic assaults forward, looking for Fook1, gets a slow flash forward, and Palette will take the first kill for SBTC, just like he did in Game 1.
Okay, now this is the bigger portion, is that the wave ends up getting pushed out, because I think this was the whole reason why Fook1 kind of showed up in the mid lane, is to make sure that Jane would have a decent back timer. Ruined by Spot and Palette, but this is a cannon, which means that like Jane should be able to TP back, actually maybe even catch the cannon if they decide to TP back. Yeah, okay, they're not going to get the cannon because of that last. They waited a little bit too long, I think, to TP. Maybe there was a chance that it survives like through one more attack. But it's just not going to happen, but still gains the majority of the wave. So it is just a kill that's picked up by Palette, which isn't the biggest deal in the entire world, in my opinion.
A decent start then for SBTC. Not terrible. Team Flash, though, getting that first blood just like they did in Game 1. And Vimbo is just collecting this wave that is shoved towards him. And to be honest, we did expect to see a lot of jungle ganks here in Game 2, just like in Game 1, but at least I expected it more from Spot. Like, whenever I see a Sejuani, I kind of see it in the same realm as a Jarvan that is just going to be perma-ganking some lane.
Yeah, you're wanting to gank on the top side, so I'm surprised that there's been no access of spot up towards the Jax, because this is a really, really tough spot where Yoshino has an assist, has a cull, is just farming up, is just trying to buy time into the late stages of the game. Where like Fiora Jax is one of the more fun matchups in the later stages because there's quite a bit of actually we're right back to mid lane.
And Dia1 can't outplay Fook1, rooted in play. Sora was making his way up just to ensure that Dia1 had no escape potential. A third tank for Fook1.
Fook1 threw a barrel and he had to make Jane so pressed right there, because if he clicks Q, he probably picks up like 3 minions, maybe picks up the cannon, but it ended up being I think Jane autoed all of them to death. So we'll maybe get a chance to see the replay. This is not the first time that they've actually made a play towards Dia1, which is interesting. We don't often see this strategy from teams attacking Dia1 at the beginning of the game. Right here, okay. No, they cut it off. I'm so upset. I wanted to see it.
Dearie me. At what point did this cast... I feel like this is like the third time we've joked now about minions being stolen away as Team Flash are looking for this Infernal Drake. A very early first Drake of the game secured.
Yes, it is. Beginning of the game, Team Flash feeling great. We're able to get that despite having like the cog lule on the bot side, despite having like the push out of mid lane potentially from Dia1. The nice strikes that have come through from Fook1 already have bought them enough space that you don't have to worry all that much. Which is a good place to find yourself. And yes, we joke about stealing minions because it's funny, okay? Like
yeah.
it's just fun.
Palette stealing kills.
Palette stealing kill. I don't know that it wasn't a kill steal. It was a kill confirm more than anything else. So one thing, it's one thing if they would have gotten it without Palette guaranteed. It's another thing that Palette was there and was a contributor to the kill ahead of time and also was able to clean things up. So
I will admit that Palette didn't show up to the fight after it was already a done deal.
Yeah, and then just like throw an ability or anything. Okay. Fook1 already more active. You gotta love that red.
Oh my god, Sora, what are these dredge lines?
I don't know. Sora coming into the split was like one of the players that I thought was not going to have a very good split. And the reason for that is that they did not play particularly well when they had opportunities previous to this. But so far, it's actually looked quite good. Maybe that's part of its laning partner, because I know that Sora has not always had the greatest of laning partners. Was the worst end of the combination back in VCSB when he was playing with who else but Ya back in the day. That is one of my favorite kind of anecdotes to kind of bring up. So you can appreciate that. But no matter the circumstance, again, Sora kind of stepping in a few splits ago, had a couple of opportunities playing support, didn't look great. Now has looked, I think, a lot better as of this split. Still has some work to deal, but this is definitely the youngest player on this Team Flash roster, and has been stepping up pretty well for them.
On a bit of a sidetrack, who would you say is the best Nautilus in the VCS? We talking Rono or Taki?
Oh, you're assuming that mid laners aren't playing this champion.
True, yes. It is always going to be Doomby as Emperor is getting ganked, flashes away, but in comes Yoshino to secure the kill. But a 2v2 to finish off. Fook1 steals away the Jack Soul, jumps forward, 2-man counter-strike to root members in place. Spot is so low. Palette is showing up just in time. Fook1 will die. Palette gets his second kill of the game. But here comes Jane and SBTC are forced on the retreat. The wild growth to get the knock-up onto Palette, trying to dash away. Big shield will keep Palette alive for a bit longer. Now the turnaround onto Jane under tower, but Jane will survive. And overall, Team Flash, I think, get 3 kills for 2 kills for 1.
Yeah, 2 kills for 1, but it's still valuable kills kind of coming through for the side of Team Flash, where Jane picked one up, and then I think it was Fook1 who picked the other one up. If Yoshino gets one instead of Fook1, that actually is an even bigger win. But I didn't end up seeing. Okay, so this was the Emperor kill. Emperor has been suffering. Again, Fook1 has been so active on this this Viego. It's been awesome. And Yoshino did pick up the kill. So both soul laners got kills here, which I think is a really big W for the side of Team Flash. Because that's so much. Now we just also cast a curse this, because we were talking about how Palette did not just like run into the end of plays and then yoink kills away.
Yeah.
Guess what happened? Like literally seconds later, Palette runs into a kill and then just ends up kind of grabbing it away and kind of punished.
That time I think it was a kill secure though.
That one, no, dude, no, that was a kill that could have come through. I'm certain they could have gotten that kill without him. They did speed it up and try to get out of that situation, because obviously Jane was coming in for the reinforce, so maybe that was the thought, is they don't care who gets the kill, they just need to get out of dodge as fast as possible. But it didn't matter, because it was his own hubris that ended up in a situation where Jane picks up the kill anyway.
And all of this has meant that Pudding has had time with Sora just to lane, deny CS away from Vinboys. Now a 15 CS lead. First item completed. Yoshino and Jane are looking very strong as well. This is just a really, really good game from Team Flash, and Fook1 has been the driving force behind their success.
It has. Ooh.
Ooh, Jane turning this one around, trying to heal up with a Kingslayer, and Spot will fall. Jane absolutely fearless, really high on the confidence arcade comment. I thought for a second Jane might fall.
Not going to be the case. It was very, very close. The fact that Team Flash, again, winning out of bot lane, winning out of mid lane, winning on the map, just in general, with all of these champions, has just been really, really incredible to see how well that they've stepped up inside a series. I don't know if it's preparation. I don't know what it is that they've been doing. This feels like they've had, like, time to prepare. It's really strange because SBTC Esports, they look very different.
And so close to getting the kill on Yoshino. But Yoshino showing exactly why he's the best Fiora in the VCS and putting Emperor in his place, 0 and 3.
You're really pushing that plot line despite the fact that
absolutely.
The evidence that Emperor's got better hands in a lot of capacity. But I won't push back on it this game because Yoshino has been crushing this pure 1-to-1 matchup here. We're like,
whoa. Okay, in fairness, this has not been a pure 1-to-1 matchup. Yoshino's got 2 kills courtesy of Fook1, okay?
This is a pure 1-to-1 matchup. Did he die? Yes. Then it's a 1-to-1 matchup. I don't care. I'm saying even without those 2 kills, like Yoshino has been winning this lane. In fact, this is just a pure solo kill in capacity to anything else that's come through. Yeah, look at that. Like Yoshino deserves that kill. That was an outright win. But even without anything else, I was waiting here because it looked like maybe there was play to be had, but they're very, very far back from the turret, so they're not that pressed. But in the pure 1-to-1, the Fiora is still winning against the Jax matchup, and that is a pure Yoshino gap because it's a bit of skill that is necessary in order for a Fiora to actually take this one. It's not impossible. I think it's actually a little harder for Jax at the beginning of the game. And another one. Yeah. I know he's set up with a couple of really big kills, and now Jane's actually...
Jane, for a second I thought this was a replay, but it is not. It is live. However, neither mid laner will fall. Also, a 12-minute first tower secured by the side of Team Flash as...
This is a top lane play.
Is this another kill, or is this how it all started between Yoshino and Emperor?
This just happened.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, this is... Like I said...
Oh, dear.
Yoshino is juiced in this game, and I understand that. Emperor's playing a little bit tilted right now. Like, Emperor has been getting kind of wrecked since the beginning of the game. I think there was one time where I saw Emperor in a winning situation, which was fair, using the Counter-Strike really effectively, then got ganked. And if I were like Emperor, I would have tilted off the face of the earth by this point as well. This is really, really difficult to play into. There's almost no way for Emperor to get back into this game. In fact, it feels like Team Flash in general is just ahead in every position, and there's no way to find your way back into a game like this. Like, I don't even know that you could set up Vinboys with like any sort of bunker to try to like get the Cogmon to just win the game for you at this point either. This might just be a chalk game, despite only being like 13 minutes in, Milky.
On the plus side, the silver lining for SBTC is, at least here in Game 2, they do have some scaling on their side, and this Cogmon will eventually get strong. Same for the Jax. However, it might take too long, and SBTC are going to be fighting with their backs against the rope for quite a while before they can get to that stage.
Well, you have to think, like, if you're a Cogma, yes, you might have Blade of the Rune King soon, which will make you a bit of a menace in teamfights. You have to worry about Yoshino diving. You have to worry about Fook1 diving. You have to worry about Jane diving, all of which have been crushing this top side of the map. That's assuming you don't get hit by anything from Puddin. That's assuming you don't get ulted by Sora. Like, there's just too much threat. There's not much that you can actually do to handle it. Poor Emperor, man. Leave him alone, bully. You big bully, Fook1. You already won the rest of the map. Why don't you just leave him alone? Come on.
Yeah, go and bully Vin, boys. Or something like that. Here's Spot. You know, Spot, the big brother for Emperor, now saying, look, I'm here. You can go and have some fun in the top lane now. Go and play without those bullies.
Go ahead and lose farm to top tower because you just backed.
Never mind.
Oh no.
So if Npad stayed and got dove under tower, then Spot would have been, you know, the brother said, yeah, you can go and play, and then just
see, then I would have been mad at Spot.
Yeah, when your mum says, right, go and look after your little brother, and you don't do that and something happens, then you get in like some serious trouble.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes, right? Like, that's, I don't know what to talk about in this situation. Like, honestly, even if Spot stays there and like you pick up the wave, eventually the tower's gonna break. And so I assume that was the thought process here from SBTC Esports, where it's like, okay, Spot can stay long enough to where Fook1 can't dive, and then as soon as that happens, you're gonna lose the tower. Like, it's not gonna be held. Maybe Yoshino doesn't get it on this wave, but he's gonna be tenacious enough to get it. We might as well let him break it and then let you step up and actually farm minions, because otherwise you're just you're out of the game. Like, there's no way that you're actually getting back into this game in any capacity. So now at least it's a long lane. Yoshino can still chase him down, but at minimum for a bit, Emperor does get to farm some minions, which is a positive kind of side effect of this.
Now, Rebel, you're a color caster. Oh, an
I've been known to
question
color
for you.
cast. All right.
You know, Pudding, he's got a bounty on him, right?
Yeah.
It's 150.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just 200 20 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm.
How has his bounty dropped when he hasn't got a kill?
The way bounties are calculated are based on like the gold and experience differential, I'm pretty sure, between you and your lane opponent. And so I'm assuming that what probably happened is that Vinboy's picked up a wave is what happened. That's what I'm assuming he did it. Again, I'm not perfect at this. I didn't bother to learn all of it. I don't really care. I thought it was honestly going to get taken out. I thought people would bitch about it too much, so I didn't bother to learn it. But it hasn't still, so there's that. But I'm pretty sure that's part of it. It's just like the big difference between your... Yeah, so like if you watch, right now he's up to 200. Now he's back because of that one minion that got farmed by Vinboys. And I'm pretty sure that's actually the difference here.
SBTC looking for a quick engage, but Glacial Prism will not land onto either Sora or Pudding. And now SBTC will just have to go back under their towers. A hijack Glacial Prism doesn't land onto Palet, but Fuquan over the wall. Nowhere for the poor Lulu to go. Uses a heal, uses a flash, uses a wild growth, but will die nonetheless.
Okay. Underneath the tower.
Dredgeline landing under tower on to spot. The depth charge will eventually find a knock-up. Fuquan is so low. One more auto would have been enough to get the kill, and I was going to say a shutdown, but actually, Fuquan does not have any shutdown on him.
Not at all. Not going to come through. It's because Fuquan's been so active, has actually died more than anybody. He's the only one that's died on the team, so there's just no shutdown gold available. Notably, also, it was really funny because I was keeping track of this while we were watching through that fight. Okay. Emperor's just going to die again because Jane is here. Okay, yeah, no.
He is slowed. Stun does come through from Emperor. Flashes over the wall.
Okay.
Yoshino, though, cannot chase him down.
That's some quick strikes right there. You can appreciate that. Rift Herald's going to the side of... I don't like this at all, actually. I think giving away Dragon is disastrous. Yeah, getting an objective... I don't think
they could have got Dragon, though.
I don't know that they could have either, but like if the choice was, hey, we can either contest for the Dragon or we can look at Rift Herald, like Rift Herald's going to get you basically nothing at this point. Like it's just not going to happen. So you're giving Soul Point away to a team that's already beating you in exchange for gold that's not going to end up like leading to anything. The best case scenario is you put it at bot tower and it ends up cracking bot tower, but I don't know that actually works. Like, I don't even know that they're able to really find an opportunity to put it down in an advantageous position. So, like, I understand it might have been their only play, but it is a bad play because, like, I don't think it ends up netting you anything in the scheme of this game.
So, if we were to talk about it in chess terms, and I can say this now because you're always not here to flame me for my terrible German pronunciation, it's Zugzwang for SBTC Esports right now.
How is that?
So, Zugzwang's a term in chess where whatever move you make is going to make your position worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel that's where SBTC were because no matter what they do, it's going to go badly.
You see, now, just to nitpick a little bit, I think they were already in Zugzwang.
Yes.
And then they had to make a move. I think that was the problem there.
That's how Zugzwang works, right?
Okay,
you have to make a move.
But you had to make a move, and then it's going to worsen your position. But they were not in that. They were already in that, and then they had to make the move. So it's the move after that has now worsened their position no matter what the circumstance.
Okay. I feel like you're just defining Zugzwang. But we do have Team Flash trying to push into this mid lane tower. Yoshino does take a fair bit of damage, and maybe there's a chance for Vinboys to get a kill, but the riposte will just stop that final tick of damage from coming through. Team Flash will get the push, and now just go back on their merry ways.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay, all right. Yep.
Spells are thrown. Nothing happens.
Throwing spells for basically no reason. And here's the mid lane push, which the minions are going to catch this before it actually...
Death Charge comes through. Good dredge line on it to Dia1. Now there's a teleport coming in as well. Dia1 forced to flash away. Moonlight Vigil does work. Spot just about survives. And somehow still nobody dies in the mid lane. Shelly does, though. Didn't get a charge off. So to go back to the previous point, that Rift Herald really didn't help them at all.
Yeah, they were trying to push something down because they thought they had enough pressure in mid lane. But again, Pudding is just too strong right now. Number 2, that was Shirley, sir. That was not Shelly. We both know
identical twin, yeah.
It's not, identical twin, Shirley.
Don't make me go back to my Kelly point.
Identical, your Kelly point means nothing. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
Thank you. There we go. Boom, we're done. Wait, what? That's fair. I would too if I were you. So.
Was 1v1 between Pudding and Vimboys to drastically change the topic, although Vimboys did have a little bit of help from Palette, and I was wondering if he might flash forward to try to get the kill and a juicy little bounty onto Pudding.
So the one thing that I have noticed about this game so far from SBTC is while they are losing in basically every conceivable fashion, the one place that they seem to be doing okay is actually setting up a bunker around Vimboys. Vimboys has had a couple of moments where it's like, oh wow, he's legitimately gonna auto attack somebody to death. It almost happened to Yoshino, it almost happened to Jane, and it almost just happened to Puddin, to be quite honest, because Puddin's up an item, like he's up Bloodthirster over top of Vimboys, and yet was still losing the one-on-one. I know maybe it wasn't a pure one-on-one because I think Lulu was around as well, so maybe he had the Pix assistance. But even with that, like look at that, like Puddin getting abused. And now Jane also gonna have it. Vimboys is getting space to actually step up in fights, which is a pressing problem for Team Flash. It's not the most crazy thing in the world. It's probably not going to lead to their demise, most likely. But at minimum, if SBTC is to find a way back into this game, that's probably the only way we're going to see it happen.
However, SBTC are on a bit of a clock because there is a Drake spawning in 1 minute's time, and I think Vimboys need to get an item before that Drake if SBTC want to contest it and prevent Team Flash from picking up a Chemtech Soul. Now, Yoshino is split pushing in one lane. Jane is in the top lane. Is this a potential dive angle for the side of SBTC just to try to get some gold as quickly as they can? They are going to decide against as Emperor heads to the bottom lane to collect that wave that has been shoved in by Yoshino's Fiora.
Ooh, okay. Sitting in a place... Okay, the back's a little bit late for Team Flash. I actually kind of appreciate it from SBTC Esports that like they're maintaining this mid lane pressure by just constantly having multiple members here. It is causing for like a lack of CS, but it is buying Vimboys time on the tower. But more importantly, it is delaying backs for Team Flash that they should be using to try to set up the dragon. Now they're using TPs, and now they're kind of indexing into it much more heavily to make sure that they can actually be here and be able to set up for a fight around the river. Vimboys would love to back. Vimboys has been on this itemization for like the last 6 or 7 minutes, and so Vimboys is sitting on some fatty gold stacks right now, Milky, and I want to see him be able to spend it before anything else kind of comes through. But he doesn't have time because the dragon is going to be up in only 7 seconds. So Vimboys is stuck on a bunch of gold probably in his pocket that he's just not going to be able to utilize on any sort of actual tangible stats for the soul fight, which sucks.
Moonlight Vigil actually whiffed by putting, so that is one ultimate down. Emperor has made his way over. So much damage onto Spot with a hijack explosive cast, pulling him away from the team. And Fook 1 will get the first kill of the fight, and SBTC are forced to instantly retreat. And that will be Chemtech Soul secured by the side of Team Flash.
Okay, it's not the most insane soul in the entire world to lose. Maybe they believe that they can actually kind of scale past it if you're on the side of SBTC Esports, which in fairness, they've got Jax and they've got frontliners. They've got like the Cog Lulu bot lane. But like, you're given a lot of power. That was an insane jump in by Jane.
I don't know if Jane actually wants to go in for that. Now here comes Emperor on the side, getting the root onto Jane, but he's still alive. Shutdown secured by Vimboys. And finally, someone other than Pelé gets a kill.
Okay, so on one hand, I'm like, okay, Team Flash, why are we just A-ramming into a Kog'Maw, right? Like, Kog'Maw just wants this. They're not. there's a Yasuo on the bottom side of the map. He also has crushed top side of the map. And, like, Yasuo is going to be nigh unstoppable inside the side lane. Like, it's going to be terrible. So maybe that's Team Flash's kind of strategy here is just, hey, maybe Yoshino can just win us this game. You don't care that much. So they're just willing to take these random fights in mid lane. Jane jumps in almost unnecessarily. I don't know what the capacity or what the reason was, but it doesn't matter because, again, Leona syndrome. Yeah, you hit chains if you've got a chain. Lee syndrome, Leona syndrome, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. And Puddin is fine just staying here forever because, again, he gets to permafarm, mid-wave as much as possible against this Kog'Maw. So all he has to do is not get run down by Kog'Maw. And again, he's top laner is just going to win the game most likely for him.
3 kills to 9. Team Flash leading. They have Chemtech Soul, and while Chemtech Soul might not be the be-all, end-all, it does mean that we've got Elder Drake in 4.5 minutes, and Elder Drake very much could be the be-all and end-all, if not is the be-all and end-all for SBTC if they can't get some serious items going for Vimboys, if they can't seriously start to ramp up and get Emperor strong in a side lane. He is currently an item behind Yoshino, whose Fiora is really strong in the side lane.
They are. Okay. I'm just trying to keep it. This will likely be the break of the mid lane tower, which is positive. It does mean Vinboys gets to be a little bit further back when farming here, and that's their #1 kind of rule here, making sure that there's going to be something. Vinboys also has not gone for a mythic yet, so you still have a bit of power left inside of the build path for the Cogmaw that could still come out. I'm also... Well, I don't necessarily hate Phantom Dancer. I think Phantom Dancer is a really good item on the Cogmaw. Maybe it's the right choice here. I am a little shocked that there's no Runans, because it does feel like Vinboys has been firing kind of freely into multiple members of this team, which could have made it very beneficial. That's a
Glacial Prison with the explosive cast. They're looking for the kill, and they get it onto Sora Vinboys with his second kill of the game. And maybe SBTC are slowly starting to ramp up. It will be a mid lane outer tower as well. More gold for Vinboys. And the SBTC win condition is starting to get clearer and clearer.
Oh, okay.
Glacial Prison lands though onto Dia1. Wild Growth will keep him alive for a bit longer, but look at Vinboys, he's just free firing onto Jane. And another ballistic missile. Jane are forced to dash over the wall, and SBTC slowly becoming a force to be reckoned with.
Okay. Let me bust out another chess term for you, Milky. Are you ready for this? Are you familiar with an Alakine's gun?
Alakine's gun? Do you mean Alakine?
Alakine's gun? Is that going to change whether you know it or not?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, so it's a special... You know what a battery is, right?
Yes, I know what a battery is.
Okay, so Alakine's gun is a battery where it is a queen behind 2 rooks. Not 1, 2 rooks. That's what Vinboys is in this game. He is the queen behind the rest of the team in 2 rooks. Because no matter what you're doing, yes, you might be able to carve away run or 2 rooks, but you've got a queen battery behind it. And that is 100% of what this SBTC Esports squad is doing right now. They are ensuring that there is nothing but space in front of Vinboys to just auto-attack anybody who dares go in front of him. That's all they've got right now. That's all they have on the board.
So to go further into chess, I'm going to have a massive amount of respect for you, Rebel, if you can work this one out. As never mind, we don't get a chance because SBTC are looking for the engage. They're looking for Sora. Explosive cast, and the Nautilus is delivered into the waiting arms of Vinboy. Spot, though, is going to fall, and now SBTC are on the back foot. Is jungler for support, which means that Team Flash have a very realistic angle at securing the Baron Asher.
Not realistic. It's guaranteed. That's what's going to happen. There's no way that you walk in here. There's no way you're going to stop it at minimum. Maybe you're looking for a fight. Maybe you're looking for something here. Dia1's going to try. They just got to set up Vinboys for a fight, but I don't like this, actually.
I don't like it either. Emperor has already fallen. Fuquan now on the hunt. Vinboys no longer has his Alakine's gun. He will fall. Team Flash will wipe SBTC off the map. And SBTC might have just thrown any hopes of getting back into this game away.
Not the play right there. Not in the slightest. I get it. You're trying to prevent the Baron from going over. I get it. You're trying to make sure that you don't just end up getting out-pressured in the side lane and you don't end up losing the majority of your base to Yoshino. It is... I get the feeling, right? Here's the problem. We talked about divers. Who can get onto Kog'Maw? You've got multiple members, right? Fiora can do it. Jane can do it. Everybody can do it in the right circumstance. Yoshino, in this particular case, is the one that's actually getting into backline and just absolutely eviscerating the health bar of Vinboys. And that is your one thing that you need to protect right now. And it just it was not capable of being done. You can see the damage inside of the fight. Yoshino popped off. And Kog'Maw doing everything. Literally has this team on his shoulders and is carrying all of them one by one and attempting to make it happen, but it is just under the crushing additional weight of Yoshino and Jane and Fuquan and all these members who have collected gold all game. They just do not have the stats to make it work right now. Vinboys needs so much time to win this game for his team.
Oh my god, the amount of damage onto Jane, the flash forward. Can they get the kill? Wild Growth though won't kill Vinboys alive. It's a reckless flash from 2017. And SBTC are getting destroyed potentially for the final time today. A good dredge line lands. Down goes Dia1. 3 members will fall from SBTC. And Team Flash will march down the mid lane to pick up their second 2-0 win of the split to take them to 2 wins and 3 losses and tie them in 4th place in the VCS 2023 Spring Split.
The split does not get any easier to read at all, Milky. Like, I feel like every week some goon action is happening between some of these teams.